Here we are, another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, what's happening with the Barrie YMCA? Still looking for a new home and running out of time. We get an update. The Barrie Women's Show is back after a 2-year layoff due to COVID. We go behind the scenes. You may have heard of them. You may have heard them sing. If not, you will hear from local singer-songwriter Kyle Wauchope today. And we'll learn about a new fundraising effort from the Season Center for Grieving Children called Hope Around Town. But first, Brandt Clarke has returned to Barrie and the Barrie Colts with gold medal in hand, having spent the first part of the season with the Los Angeles Kings. Barrie 360's Ian MacLennan sat down with Clarke to talk about his success at the World Juniors, his experience with the Kings, and how he hopes to help the Colts get to the next level.
Congratulations on your gold medal win. Right off the top, you went from Los Angeles to the Team Canada. Pressure. Czechia, the first game loss, we got a lot of people jump off the bandwagon right away. Oh my God. You're used to the pressure, but what sort of atmosphere was it like?
Yeah, I don't think any of us were actually ready for how much attention we were going to get, how much support, and what people were upset when we lost, the people were upset when we didn't do well. So yeah, you definitely had to battle some of that. It was people, there's a lot of media coming at you, a lot of questions and stuff like that. But we had a really strong group, really resilient group in that dressing room, and it was definitely a tough showing Boxing Day, but we wanted to use that as a learning lesson. Luckily, that wasn't an elimination game, and from that point forward, we just always took steps in the right direction, and that's if we didn't learn from that game, I don't think we would have won the gold medal. So it all worked out in the end.
And how did that tournament help you grow as a player, do you think?
I think I just through my confidence, I feel like it was just like I said, it was just a crazy atmosphere. Something you don't. It's like a once in a lifetime experience. Even playing in the NHL, you don't really see that many people just so rabid over especially 19-year-old kids. It was a really special moment for all of us, and it's something I'll treasure for a really long time. And personally, I think just playing against the top guys in the world at my age group, it was I felt right at home, felt confident with the puck and everything. So I think my overall game grew a ton.
And that gold medal you won too. I mean, you huge contributor in that gold medal game. 2 of the 3 goals, you connected with helpers there. So you were a huge role. I know you're modest, but you were a big part of that.
Yeah, it was cool to be a contributor. I was just I just wanted to do the best I could every time I got tapped by the coach. It was, especially in overtime. There's we look calm out there, but everyone's hard to race it. So you just want to make the right play, and luckily I did, and luckily. 2 forwards went on the 2-on-1 and converted. So it was that was a really cool moment. And like you said, just to be a key contributor in such a high pressured game, it was pretty special for me.
Now, Todd McLellan gave you a pat on the back verbally. The fact that tough for a young player to pack up, leave Los Angeles, and go in the other direction. Were you keen all the way, or did you have some reservations?
Obviously, the dream is being in the NHL. That's what I was dreaming for all summer. That's what I was super excited for when I made the team out of camp. It was a dream come true. But we talked with Rob Blake, the GM. We talked with Todd. This is the path they wanted me to take, and this is the path they thought was best for my success. And looking back, they made the right call. It was really special. It was like I said, it was a moment I'll never forget. Just with that group and that atmosphere in Halifax, it was really special for me. So there was definitely talks about, should I stay there for a bit longer? Should I go to the World Juniors? And they knew I'd be a key contributor. They knew I'd help the team get to the gold medal. And I'm really happy they made that choice for me. And when September rolls around again, I'm just going to try to impress them again and try to crack that roster 9 months from now.
Now, you've been described as a new era defenseman with your offensive capabilities. Where did that come from? Was that something you always wanted to master, or?
I don't know. It's just kind of something that's always been part of my game. I've always wanted to contribute on the offensive end. Even being at the blue line, I just want to, find a way to contribute, find a way to transition pucks quick, get the puck in their zone. The best way to play defense is have the puck in their zone. So it's that's the way I think of it. If we're generating, that means they're not generating. So I don't know. I just feel like it's always been been part of my game. I've always been able to make that right read, make that. Know when to jump into play and stuff like that. So that's just kind of who I am, and I don't know if I've ever been taught that. It's just kind of like every time I'm on the ice, that's kind of a mentality is let's make the right play in the D zone, but when it's time to be creative in the offensive zone, when there's a chance to make a play, let's make a play. So that's kind of what I do.
Now, Brandt, you've got another goal. That's, of course, an OHL championship and a Memorial Cup, and headed in the right direction there, do you think, as a team?
I do. I really do. That's the next 4 months. That's what all our goals are. That's where every day we get to the rink, that's what our mentality is. We need to take a step in the right direction to make that a reality. So, there's still things that we need to clean up, but that's the dream for all of us, and I want to contribute as much as I can. I want to lead this team to that realization. So it's gonna be a fun couple of months. We have a really good group of guys, and I think that goes a long way when you're a really cohesive group. When everyone gets along really well, I think that goes a long way, and that's what we have. So it's gonna be pretty special to see what we can do, and I'm really excited.
Barrie Colts defenseman Brandt Clarke in conversation with our Ian MacLennan. Stay tuned for a new feature on what Barrie's talking about, a weekly roundup on the Colts with their TV color man Gene Pereira, who also writes Colts game summaries for Barrie 360. The Barrie Women's Show returns this weekend to Bradford Greenhouses after a 2-year COVID-induced break. Barrie 360's MJ is interested. She thinks you will be too. She's with event coordinator Marissa Nazarek.
2023 Barrie Women's Show happening over at Bradford Greenhouses, and it's the first one in a couple of years. Pretty exciting to have it back.
Yeah, absolutely. We're more than excited and get women to feel inspired and excited about being back at the show and just getting a fun day out with your family, friends, and girlfriends.
And what can people expect when they come?
So they can expect a wide range of vendors, from local to obviously corporate vendors, which is really awesome. You can also expect there to be a schedule of shows. So we have pretty much everything starting from 10 a.m. all the way till 4 p.m. on Saturday for just awesome. Some of our vendors just speaking about anything and everything that they want to talk about, how to empower women and how to make them feel, better about themselves, and just kind of give some insight of what they do and who they are, and how can we be better as individuals. So that's happening all day Saturday as well as Sunday. So that'll also be from 10 to 4 too. And then another thing that guests can see is that we're actually going to have a feature of one of our local photographers, Trish Beasley. She'll be doing complimentary digital photos, and you can also get your makeup done, also complimentary by Blushington's Beauty Bar. Do you have to schedule something beforehand, or just sort of show up, and if you can get in, that's great? Honestly, just to show up. They start at 1, so then, just show up from then, and, you get a free photo taken. What I like about this is, there's all this talk, as women have a lot of responsibilities, and one of them is actually self-care, but it's easier said than done a lot of times. You hear everywhere, self-care for yourself to make you better, but it is hard to do. So this is sort of everything under one roof to help you do that, right? Absolutely, and it's just also to get women inspired to, hey, if you need to do this or check out this vendor, maybe you were too scared to maybe talk to them. It's just about opening up that and actually seeing a person rather than, contacting through email and whatnot. So at least this gives you a really good interaction to, meet new people and honestly just mingle, learn more about the community and what's happening in the community as well. Where and when can people get tickets, and how much is it? People can actually start pre-booking for their tickets now through Eventbrite. So if they just kind of go on Eventbrite, type in Barrie Women's Show, we can have the tickets will pop up there for them. They can also end up getting tickets through our website as well. There's also a link there, and our website's just womensshowbarrie.com. And then they can also purchase tickets as well at the door. We'll have everything set up there, so there's no issues. And the $5 ticket fee actually goes to Roots for Youth, which is a charitable charitable fundraiser that helps kids get a post-secondary education after dealing with a loss in a family. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. That was Marissa Nazarek, spokesperson for Bradford Greenhouses.
Been a rough road for those involved with the Barrie YMCA trying to find a new home for the facility after the Grove Street site closed a couple of years ago. Where do things stand? How close are they? Here again is Ian MacLennan with the Y's Jill Tetman.
Boy, the search for a new home in Barrie for the YMCA of Simcoe Muskoka has been a lengthy one. A proposed location at the former Barrie Central Collegiate fell through when the developer made changes to the site, and then a proposed build on city-owned land of the so-called H Block next to the public library downtown. That collapsed under the weight of just being too costly. So, Jill, where do things stand now?
We are continuing to explore a number of different options. We're really open at this point to look at every potential option that is available. We have a number of people that have come forward with different site options for us, and we are building that list and doing some analysis on each of the options that come forward. We really want to make sure that we when we look at building, that we're building in the most fiscally responsible and sustainable way. As you know, that's one of the reasons that we chose to walk away from the H Block site or beside the library. It was not feasible for us to build there. And so we are exploring a number of other options, which means that we're doing some analysis on each site that becomes available and of interest, and we're continuing to do that.
Are you still zeroed in on a location somewhere downtown?
Our preference is definitely downtown. That's our vision for a community hub, downtown Barrie. We are exploring a little bit beyond that. Within Barrie, there's lots of parameters or areas that we don't want to go to from a market share perspective, but we really are looking at in and around the downtown area.
Now, last summer you said you'd like a shovel in the ground by 2024. The clock is ticking, and how many factors are at play right now to achieve that?
Yeah, definitely lots of factors that will determine that. It has to be a feasible date for us because, as you know, we do have a very generous grant from the province of Ontario, but it expires March 31st, 2027. Which means we cannot be collecting money from that grant beyond that period. So when we work our way back from that, we really need to determine and have a site finalized by the spring.
There was a capital campaign launched to build a new Y, and this took place actually pre-pandemic. So what's become of that?
Yeah, absolutely. The campaign is still going. It's been a quiet campaign since probably just around when the pandemic hit. We have already raised nearly $5.5 million from our community donors. We've received commitments from the province. As I said in the past, it's $29.9 million from the province of Ontario and a commitment from the county of Simcoe for $2.5 million. So we haven't launched a more public campaign until we have a site that we're campaigning for. But there's constantly our website, 100 Reasons Why, is still active, and anyone can still donate to this project.
Have you received any funding from the city of Barrie?
Not to this point. We have not yet.
Will you be seeking any cash from Barrie?
Yes, we likely will be seeking some support from the city of Barrie. Again, we need to work with the city to determine if there are sites that are available through the city that we want to work with them on, or just other opportunities. Obviously, we want to be in the city of Barrie. And so I think there's lots of opportunities that we can work with the city on looking at some kind of donation grant, something to help support us moving forward.
Now, the vision for a new Y has been a community hub, preferably downtown, and partnerships, too, with various organizations like Youth Haven. Has anything changed there?
We are still open to making sure that we achieve our vision for this project, and our vision as it stands is that community hub that is inclusive of childcare and of transitional youth housing and of other sort of supports through Royal Victoria Regional Health Centre and our partnership with them around rehabilitation. So that continues to be our vision, and so that's what we're looking to achieve in finding the site that fits that vision.
Our Ian MacLennan in conversation with the Barrie Y's Jill Tetman. What Barrie's Talking About is a weekly podcast featuring the best Barrie has to offer and more. We've covered a lot of ground since we began last July, meeting Greta Van Fleet drummer Danny Wagner, learning how to cut home heating costs during the winter, and introducing you to a new take on ping pong. You can get caught up and make it easy to keep up in the future by subscribing to What Barrie's Talking About through any podcast distributor. Still to come on What Barrie's Talking About, up close and personal with Innisfil singer-songwriter Kyle Wauchope. Hope Around Town is a new fundraising and awareness campaign launched by the Season Center for Grieving Children, and we launch our new weekly Colts Roundup. Now this.
Our community rocks.
It's a well-known fact blood transfusion saves lives. It's also a well-known fact that the world relies on voluntary unpaid donations to fill the need for blood. The need for blood never ends. Canadian Blood Services in Barrie is calling on you to help save a life. Please consider donating today. Appointments are mandatory and must be booked in advance. Book today at blood.ca through the Give Blood app or by calling 1-888-2-DONATE.
Our Community Rocks is brought to you by Peggy Hill, broker of record, Remax Hallmark, Peggy Hill Group Realty.
Barrie's Rock Station, Rock 95.
This is What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. Barrie Colts have been on a tear in recent weeks, stringing together a few wins, making a few deals in the run-up to the playoffs. What better time to launch a weekly segment with Colts colorman Gene Pereira, tracking what the team has done over the last week and what may be in store for the coming week. Barrie 360's Will Conkin gets the insight for us.
So, Gene, let's get to the nitty-gritty. What's been the good, the bad, and the ugly about the Colts this last week of play? Brandt Clarke returned to the squad and some other additions as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty good week for the Barrie Colts. They continued what really has been a bit of a hot stretch here since the beginning of December with 3 wins. And it started obviously with the return of Brandt Clarke and as well the addition of Brandon Hache, who came over at the trade deadline from the Kingston Frontenacs.
What's head coach Williamson really looking to get from Hache?
I think, with Hache, he's kind of the perfect fit for Brandon Clarke, who's kind of an offensive defenseman. And Hache's addition as a solid stay-at-home, and he kind of brings that nasty edge. That's something that they really needed back there. And Hache is regarded as one of the top shutdown defensemen, so he's a real guy that you could kind of put him and Clarke and pair them up against the league's top lines.
Prior to the trade deadline, were they really looking for someone like him?
Yeah, I think he was kind of the perfect fit. Obviously, you knew, once you kind of knew Brandt Clarke was going to come back, he's really added to this defense. Obviously, he gives you that offense with him and Bo Akey, 2 guys that can really, play a big role in the offensive part of the game. Hache brings kind of a different element, and again, I mean, when you look at this blue line, this Colts blue line now with the addition of Clarke and Hache, it's right up there among the best in the Ontario Hockey League. And I think those 2 guys are going to log a lot of ice time. But again, this is a very deep blue line with Arthur Cholak and Bo Akey and Connor Punnett, and it just, all of a sudden, come playoff time when you got those back-to-back games or, every 2 days, you can really roll out those top guys against the other team's top lines and shut them down.
The other player that the Barrie Colts acquired was Ethan Quick from Ottawa. What are your thoughts on him?
Again, a young player, and he comes again with this move. When you look at the Colts this year in the draft with Cole Baudouin and the addition of Carter Lowe as their top 2 picks, big hulking forwards that can really, come playoff time, that can really help your roster in the sense that they can kind of do the battles in the corner in front of the net. And that's what Quick brings. He's supposed to have that reputation as kind of a more physical guy, a guy that's willing to do those battles along the boards and so on. And again, guys that are tough to play against. And I think it's something that the Colts have tried to turn around the roster. Traditionally, we've seen the smaller, more skilled players. But recently, we've seen the additions of guys like Baudouin, who obviously still have the skill. But when you look at their size and their ability to fight and forecheck, it just brings a completely different element. And come playoff time, I mean, usually those elements are highlighted and find success.
And then how are the Colts looking this week? Speaking of Ottawa, they're coming to town on Thursday.
Yeah, it's really a great test. I mean, obviously, they started the week with the game against Owen Sound on Tuesday, but the games against Ottawa and then Windsor, Ottawa on Thursday and then Windsor Saturday, are really good tests for a team that has been red hot. I mean, both those teams, Ottawa was number one in the league. They've been number one in the league all season. And then you got Windsor, which is really bulked up. Shane Wright trade at the deadline and a couple of other big additions. So those are two of the so-called favorites in the Ontario Hockey League. And it's going to be a real good test to see where the Colts stand against the league's best. And I think it's going to be some pretty exciting hockey, because when you get those type of games, both teams seem to raise their level of play, knowing that it's a test, and they kind of want to send a message that, hey, we're for real.
For sure. Well, very much looking forward to this week. That's it for now. Thanks again, Gene, for talking Colts with us.
Thanks, Will.
You can read Gene's Colts game day summaries at Barrie360.com. Lots of support for adults when a family member dies, but not so much for children. Enter the Season Center for Grieving Children in Barrie, offering peer-to-peer support to children and families who are grieving. But like any such endeavor, funding is needed to keep the center going. Barrie 360's MJ hearing from Season Center founder Rolly Ramey about Hope Around Town, a new fundraising initiative for the center.
It's all about hope, and you have a really cool spin on it. You want to make hope not this far-going thing, but an actual thing. Hope is real.
Yeah, hope is real, and what we're trying to do is take our logo, for lack of a better word, and bring it to a life size and bring it to a lifelike entity. And so we've come up with this concept of Hope Around Town, and so wherever you are in your grief journey, there's still other places you can be to help navigate. And so we're kind of make hope. Hope is to sort of help you navigate your pain. Hope is to find normality in your grief loss. Or for me, it was like just having people approach me like I was normal, or to find somebody that understood what I was going through. And so we're taking hope and we're kind of making her lifelike.
Yeah. And how are you doing that?
Well, we've made her 7 feet tall. Well, almost 7 feet, I should say. And we're bringing her around to various different things that children would do. For instance, she'll be going tubing this weekend at Horseshoe Resort. And for that, and our participants will be going there. And we hope to bring hope to the community and make people aware of Season Center through those things. And she's going to go to a Colts game. She's going to a private ski club. She's going to meet the mayor. She's going to a school. So, and that way we can bring awareness of what hope represents for Season Center, but also what the hope that we need in the community.
Coming up to the first thing that Hope's going to be at this weekend, and that is snow tubing. How can people participate? Is there a cost involved, or how can people join Hope in tubing this weekend?
It's just a normal fees to go at Horseshoe Resort and go tubing, and that Hope will be there just to bring awareness to the community about Season Center for Grieving Children. There are opportunities for you to tap Hope. She has tip-tap capabilities and make a donation. And Horseshoes keep taking all the people that have made donations and that, putting them into draws and offering up wonderful prizes in a family skis pass for next year, 5x7 pass. They've got all sorts of prize packages there.
Where'd you get the idea to bring hope to everywhere, to many places?
I had a conversation with the Creative Co-op one day, and I talked about how one time I wanted to build a mascot. We never ever got there. And so then the term Hope Around Town came about, and now called HAT. And then it just kept evolving in my mind. Okay, well, let's make her life size, and then how do we get people to identify with it? And why can't be like a kettle campaign at Christmas time raising money? So National Grief Awareness Day. Why can't she be part of that and doing that? And then people wanted to be involved, and corporations and stuff, and so it's evolved from there.
Is this the first time Hope's been going to be going on many outings?
This particular outing it's my Samantha's birthday, or it would have been her 41st birthday. My daughters lived and breathed Horseshoe Resort. I used to be the general manager of Horseshoe Resort, so there's a memorial bench there in granite, says our home away from home, and that's what it truly was for them. So Hope coming out, for lack of a better word, in Horseshoe is pretty significant in that way.
Join Hope, Roley, and Cool FM's Charlie at Horseshoe Resort this weekend for Hope Goes Tubing. The music scene locally getting back on track after the pandemic. A lot of bands getting a chance to play again. Innisfil's Kyle Wauchope among them. Had a lot of gigs last year. Has written some new material. If you don't know him, let's get to know him.
Born and raised Innisfil kid. Grew up on Innisfil Beach Road, and I moved down south, if you will, to Bellewart, and that's where I've been living for the last 11 years. You know, I've been really pushing the last year with my solo stuff, and you know, I banged off 90 gigs, which, you know, I was trying to shoot for 100, but I just missed it. But hey, it was a good achievement to do. Having, you know, just being able to hang out with just myself with the circumstances we were put in the past few years, and I don't know really what's next, but I hope, you know, something big, something good. I'm chasing it, you know.
How did it all begin for you? Take us back. When did you start playing a guitar? When did you start singing? When did you get that itch?
I could tell you that precisely where it was, and it was at Molson Park, Barrie, Somersault 2000. They had a bunch of bands, you know, I Mother Earth, Our Lady Peace, and the Foo Fighters, which is what, you know, flipped the switch for me. I just remember, I'll never forget it, turning around and seeing just the crowd singing along to every word. It's like, that's where I want to be. But prior to that, I was doing like a lot of like theater stuff locally, you know. South Simcoe Theater was where I kind of got my feet wet and got, I guess, the itch for being in front of people. Yeah, that kind of gave me a little bit of the tools to have a little bit of the confidence to go and speak, let alone, you know, be the center of attention. Yeah, that kind of helped, right?
And so your influences come from the Molson Park events?
Yeah, I would say that, and you know, like local places, like, you know, I big shout out to the Fox Lounge, playing there and getting our roots in there. Like, lots of bands. That was the place. You wanted to play, you were allowed to play there. You know what I mean? Like, and it was really good.
How tough has it been? You mentioned the 90 gigs in 2022 and a couple of tough years prior to that. How tough was it to get back into a groove with everything, with having that 2-year hiatus, I guess?
I think everybody kind of wanted it too. You know, there were some good gigs and there were some bad ones. It's weird. It's always hit or miss, right? Because I was playing, and then at the start of a place on Friday night, and then by the end of the night it was packed, you know, and it was good. You didn't feel like you're playing for just the bartenders, but then by the end of it, there's people, and then that's what they love. You know, they want to sell food, they want to sell drinks, they want to make money, right? So if we're helping them bring people there, then they're gonna get us back.
So what's coming up? You've got at least 90 gigs booked for this year?
I've only got so far just a handful. I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near those numbers, and I don't really plan to be. Some cool stuff coming out. Like I've just released, you know, about four or five tracks that are ready to come out along with my single I've just released. The next month or so, we'll have that next single released, and we'll keep her going.
Okay, if we're not out at a club somewhere seeing you, how can we hear you? Are you on CD and online?
I am on pretty well every platform, you know, like Spotify, YouTube, all the channels, Apple Music, iTunes. You know, there's so many that I won't be able to even spit out, right? There's things I don't even know what they do. But yeah, it's pretty cool how easily it is to just push your music if you want to do it independently. It does cost money, right? Like anything. Not much. Like it's affordable because I'm doing it, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's something that it makes it kind of easy for anybody. If you have a song and if you feel confident about it, you can release it.
Okay, you're going to sing a song for us. Yeah. This is the latest, right?
This is the latest, Not Even.
It was a bad mistake. I was drinking again, and it was awful late. only share each other's heartache. It wasn't right for us to partake. Not even once, not even once more. Deleted numbers and locked doors. It's a shame for everything we've done together. I was smoking again, and I was feeling the lesser with all this extra built up pressure. It was hard for us to even measure. Not even once, not even once more. Deleted numbers and locked doors. Not even once, not even once more. Deleted numbers and locked doors. Vibrations were off. Was it worth the cost? You got so far away. Now I'm feeling lost, and all this pain will be forgotten. But for now I'm feeling kind of rotten. Not even once, not even once more. Deleted numbers and locked doors. Not even once, not even once more. Deleted numbers and locked doors. Not even once, not even once more. Deleted numbers and locked doors.
And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Ian, Will, and MJ for their input, and to Matt Ladder for pulling it all together. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Facebook and Twitter at Barrie360 and on our website, Barrie360.com. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.